I drift on a river of blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is eSportsMonies, ESM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to my guide to jungling Bloodseeker. I actually recorded footage for this guide probably 12 times. I finished, compiled, and set away the entire guide, went back, watched it again, played some more, tweaked with things some more. I swear, when I jungle heroes that are naturally efficient junglers, it's harder for me to make a guide than a non-traditional jungler because I have to be better than the other people making guides because everyone knows that Bloodseeker can jungle. So basically this guide is going to be rushing a Midas by level 6. That's the whole guide. After that I generally get treads and then either Force Staff, Blade Mail, or Sange & Yasha. It really depends on what you want to do. Sange & Yasha is probably the best of those three because Sange & Yasha doesn't scale very well, and Blade Mail does. If you get Blade Mail kind of later on, it's not a bad slot a little bit later versus Sange & Yasha you want to get kind of early. So the way that we're going to do this is we're not actually going to buy any tangos. We're going to rush our Gloves of Haste in the hand of Midas, and we're going to only start with an Iron Talon. And the reason that this works is because we're going to be banking on the heal of our Q. Something that's really important to understand about Bloodseeker, and most people understand this, but in the event that you don't, you need to get the last hit on the monster while your Q buff is active on you if you want to be healed. If the buff is not on you when you get the last hit, then you don't get healed. It is not a lifesteal buff. It is a flat bonus of hit points for getting the last hit when you're under the effect of the buff. If the buff wears off before you get the last hit, you're not going to get healed, and you'll be inefficient to the point where you will mess up and die. So keep an eye on that and alternate targets, or just wait and get hit a couple of times till you can recast the buff if you're below level 3. Once you're level 3, the cooldown's 10 seconds and the duration is 10 seconds, so if you're careful you can basically always have it on you. And then after that, the duration is actually slightly longer than the cooldown, so you will literally always have it on you. But you need to be careful about this, because if you mess this up, then your efficiency will go to the point where you should have bought tangos. You should have wasted another 125 gold. You waste time, and it's the worst. So you can actually jungle ever so slightly faster than this if you put a point in your W early instead of a point in your E, but I prefer to put the point in my E so that my allies get global range of people with low health when they're retreating if they are fighting. So that way, sort of like a jungle crystal maiden, I'm giving a global aura bonus to my team, so I'm not being a complete and total leech while the early game is happening. And as you can see, it's not slowing me down much. I'm going to max my Q by level 7. I'm going to get my ulti at all the standard as soon as possible, so 6, 12, and 18. And in terms of W or E, it's really up to you. Personally, I like getting 1 or 2 points in E, and then or 1 or 2 points in W and then maxing E, because your W damage is going to scale up with your Q buff on you anyway. So every time you put a point in your Q, your W actually does a little bit more damage. So it's not that big of a deal. So again, I'm going to rush my Midas as quickly as possible, then I'm going to get Power Treads, then I'm going to get my choice of Blade Mail, Sange & Yasha, or a Force Staff. The Force Staff is good because if you Force Staff someone that's ruptured, they take a bunch of damage. The Blade Mail is good because if someone decides not to run away after you rupture them, then they have to man-fight you and they're going to take even more damage. But the thing about the Blade Mail is that your rupture doesn't do that much damage at level 1, so people can retreat from you. Also, because Blade Mail takes damage into consideration before reductions, it scales really, really well into the late game, which means that combined with the fact that your rupture is better on, so there's more incentive to try to man-fight you, the Blade Mail's better on. Another thing is the Sange & Yasha doesn't scale into the late game because it's just a flat bonus, that I'd prefer to get the Sange & Yasha earlier if I'm going to be a carry. And since you're rushing a Hand of Midas, you're probably going to be a carry. So the standard build for this guide would be Hand of Midas into Power Treads, into Sange & Yasha, or Maelstrom and Mjolnir, something to let you fight and or farm in the mid-game, but Sange & Yasha is my favorite because I do like to fight a little bit. And then get your choice of Blade Mail or Force Staff. So this is my guide to jungle Bloodseeker. I've put way more time into this than I want to admit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked this video, please leave me a like, please let me subscribe. If you didn't, let me know why in the comments, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Peace out, guys.